Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for tuning in. I am TJ Randolph, and this is an episode or an edition of Cocktails and Conversations. As always, I like to give a shout out to my nephew, my firstborn nephew, who was on the horn, on the saxophone. You can find him on Instagram and under I Am Spunk. His music can also be found on Apple Music as well as Spotify under Rhyan Spunk Adams. I'm very, very proud of him. He was my child before I had a child. So I'm very proud of him. I thank all of you for joining tonight. Hello, hello, hello. We have a guest coming up, but he's not here yet. So we're just going to chat up a little bit. And hopefully everyone had a wonderful weekend. As you come into the studio, if you haven't already, please hit the like button. And also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. I want to thank you. Right now, I am up to 790 subscribers. And I started this channel in May of this year. So as a hobby, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that either now or when my guests come. Hopefully everyone had a good weekend. Well, how was your weekend? Let's hear it. Let's see in the chat. One love, definitely. How was everybody's weekend? Yes, please tell me. Did you do anything exciting? Please, please tell me. Hello, 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 hello. Tonight I'm drinking. My daughter has not put me on blast, but I am really a lightweight. Okay. So I am really a lightweight. So my drink of the evening is just a mimosa, just with the white wine, prosecco. I switched up a little bit and put some pineapple juice mixed with OJ. So just a little bit of something, because again, I am a lightweight. I'm not even going to front. I'm not even going to front. As you all know, I was out on the on the countryside with my husband, who's a truck driver, and I had a great time. And I took it easy. Okay, you know what? Let me tell you something. A lot of times people say, "What are you doing this weekend?" I'm like, "Nothing," and I'm excited to say nothing. I'm cool with that. I will say to you, when I was young, 20s, I'll even say 30s, but definitely 20s. Please, I was not staying home on the weekend. What? No, wasn't doing any of that. So I love the opportunity to
Please, I was not
staying home. Opportunity to stay home and do nothing. I'm struggle streaming. Yes, I am. You see it. You see it here first. I'm struggle streaming. Just pray with me, and I'm getting it together. I'm getting it together. Hold on 1 minute. 1 minute, folks. Don't go nowhere. Okay, I'm back. So struggle streaming. Hello, Mr. Bennett. Hello, Mr. Bennett. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for stopping by this evening. Now, for those of you who may not know, I would call into the Lapeef Let's Talk network on Thursday night when they would have their talks. And every now and again, they have a lot of really good guests that come on and have a lot of good advice and wisdom. And so one of them is Bolo from Bolo TV. And I really appreciate and have valued his input. So I reached out to him and asked him if he would join us. And lo and behold, he just came up. He's in the back. I'm going to bring him up in a minute. I'm going to bring him up in a minute. But before I bring him up, I will say sometimes you're not really sure as you're on this walk, because I know there's a lot of, a lot of buzzing about walking in your purpose and aligning your people with, aligning yourself with certain people. And sometimes people don't know what their purpose is. I always knew that my personality was to help people. I didn't know how I was going to use that, especially going into the military. I didn't know. But I've always considered myself a relatable person. I always try to find the common ground. And I sought to be the leaders that I saw, because some people who impacted me never even knew me. Okay? Never even knew me. So I'm saying that to say, I started this channel because I wanted to make a difference. And as I already shared with you, I started as a form of therapy for myself. Well, and as I've also shared with you that I recently retired. Well, I got a friend request the other night. Actually, I got a Facebook message first from someone I knew at my previous agency when I worked for the Department of Homeland Security. She reached out to me and asked me how I was doing. She had saw that I had married and all that kind of stuff. And she thought I was still working at the service center because, again, she was primarily a teleworker and I was in the office pretty much every day. So I told her that, I left the service center back in 2019 and I had changed agencies a couple of times since then. She said to me, now mind you, someone I saw occasionally, our paths would cross, but, not a real serious dialogue and not really deep conversations. But she wrote to me, she said, you always brought such class and style to the service center. And you were always so nice to me. The service center has over 1,500 people in it. And that was very humbling to me because my job at the time, I didn't have any friends at work. And because the nature of my job is I was the go-between between the union and management, but my responsibility was to management. So I had to really walk a fine line far as friendships and relationships, because at any given time, if a folder came across my desk, whether it be for performance issues or conduct issues, I had to do my job. And I was not, and when you were friends, sometimes, I didn't even want the possibility of the appearance of partiality. So I just kind of kept my distance from everybody. Work was work, personal was personal. But in that, I showed her something that she thought was valuable. And she said, class and style, and that I was always nice to her. So that was a reminder for me, I'm doing the right thing. And why am I bringing that up now? Since I've gotten to these YouTube streets, it is easy to be pulled in a whole bunch of different directions. It is easy to find yourself caught up in things that really don't matter. But what's important is, how am I presenting myself? How am I presenting myself to the world? Because people don't know me, just like she didn't know me. But she saw what I presented. She saw how I interacted with her. So that reminded me to stay true to why I started this channel to begin with, to help people, to pour into them. If I can impart something to them that is useful, that is helpful, but always treat them with dignity and respect. So with that, I'm about to bring on Bolo from Bolo TV. I met him again through the Lapeef Network. He is a wonderful person. He's given me sage counsel. I've adopted him as one of my nephews. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Bolo to the stage. Hello, Bolo.
Yo, 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 yo.
How are you?
You know what I'm saying? We live now.
Yes.
What's going on?
You tell me.
I'm here. I was stuffing my face while you were speaking.
Say again?
I was stuffing my face while you were speaking.
Okay. Um, do you have your beverage for the night?
I
It
got
doesn't
my
have to be
wine.
alcoholic.
Yes, it is.
You have a beverage?
Yes, it's uh semi-sweet Riesling wine. You know what I'm saying? I'm
I
trying to
heard you.
do it white people style tonight,
Okay.
and I'm
Okay.
lifting the pinky up.
Yeah. Oh, pinky even.
What?
Okay. I
Come
like
on
it.
now. Come on. Let's
Pink.
get into it.
Yes. So I was telling the viewers that um I met you through the Lapeef Network because you would call in offering very wise counsel, definitely spiritually and biblically based. I have adopted you as one of my nephews. I, shared some things with you. You are so grounded, so full of insight, so full of wisdom. And so the thumbnail for today is talking about, we're going to talk about love, wisdom, and hope. So I say we're going to discuss real love in relationships,
Word.
wisdom for our youth,
Uh,
and the hope for our nuclear families
ain't it funky?
up in here.
Word.
But
Okay.
before we do that, I want you to tell the people a little bit about yourself and
Okay.
about your channel.
Cool. A little bit about myself. Came to YouTube a little bit under a year and a half ago. I'd say about maybe, excuse me, about a year and maybe 5 months now. And I was looking at some Kimbo Slice fights. And this guy came up, Tommy Sotomayor came up. And just listening to, him speak, it was very, shocking. But once I got past the shock and awe and started listening to the message, the man was on point. A lot of the times, people get caught up with the delivery.
Mm-hmm.
However, you know, he deals with directly our people. So
Okay.
understanding that he's not for everyone, but for the people that he directs his comments at, uh, they need strong love. Let me say it like that. They need strong love. So I would come up on the show a few times and we would kick it. And the man, he's faith based. And my thing was, that I thought that he was doing the job by himself and he shouldn't. He should have
Mm-hmm.
help, you know. Um, then I lost before that I lost my mom. Let me
Mm.
back it up a little bit.
Okay.
So I was one of those guys that didn't think about depression, right? I was one of those dudes that, if you're feeling down or whatever the issue is, handle it. You got yourself there, you can figure it out. I didn't understand what depression was. I didn't understand it. And a lot of the times we don't understand things until we walk a mile in someone's shoes, as the saying
Yes.
goes. So
Yes.
I lost my mom, which spiraled me into depression. Um, Thoughts of suicide, drinking, all of that. Um, thank the Lord I had a foundation, family around me that was there to hear me. And I went to seek counsel, meaning I went to go to therapy. So I'm not ashamed to say that. I did seek therapy. I did go talk to a professional. And what I learned is, therapy is they're more like mirrors, right? They're just reflecting what you are and what you're going through. This is why they always ask you the question. They sit back and let you speak it out, let you figure it out. So it's not like I wasn't self-aware, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, you just have to go through it to get to where you need to be so that you get there. And that's where I
Yes.
was at that point. So now I understand therapy. And then I feel like such an a-hole for feeling the way I felt towards the people that went through it. And then when I go through it, I understand that it's not something that you can just tell someone to get over. It's bigger than that.
Right.
So fast forward, I meet Tommy. We talk on his show, so forth and so on. And he would say, start a channel, come down, get your things ready. And I would always tell him, I am. And then my son lost a friend of his, committed suicide. And
Mm.
again, the young man, again, we spoke about this a little bit that, I would argue with the dude about Jordans because I'm a sneakerhead. So, I still got my head, I'm 48, but I'm still in them streets. Don't get it twisted. But anyway, anyway, but we would talk about when the latest J's is coming out or whatever. We would argue. And he was such a spunky young man because he was so small that you wouldn't think that he had such a dirty mouth. When I tell you this little kid can curse you out, man, but it wasn't like
Okay.
a bad, like he would curse you out. And if you didn't know him, you'd want to fight him. But if you knew him, you would say, damn, how the hell can all of that be in you? You're so small. And to hear that he took his life,
Mm.
it really messed me up because this was a young man that I did converse with, a young man that I did talk to. However, we didn't deep dive. I would talk to him and how you doing? Everything good? Yeah, you sure? Yeah, if something was wrong, you tell me. I didn't get to know him and his quirks. Did I know him? Yes, but I really didn't know him as we say in the streets, right? When you
Mm-hmm.
say it twice, that means deeper because I didn't
Okay.
get to understand his quirks. Now, doing this for a year and a half, um, you start to see usually the people that are the brightest are sometimes the people that have the most problems. You know, the ones that are the funniest are usually the ones that cry, right? The sad clown. He can make everyone else smile, but he himself can't make himself happy.
Robin
So
Williams.
yeah, that's a perfect case. And it really hurt me. So at that point, I was like, you know what? It's enough. Enough is enough. So I needed to actually start a channel. And in my mind, I was like, what is it going to be about? You know? And I looked around before I actually started, and I
Mm-hmm.
seen that you women always have places to talk about your feelings, man. Y'all can go anywhere. You know,
Mm-hmm.
us as men, we didn't have a place. We didn't have a safe place. So I started the channel primarily for men, not exclusively, but primarily for men. A place where men can come talk about how they feel and what they're going through. And
Mm-hmm.
first couple of months, it worked right. It worked good. But then other people started coming. Kids, women started coming. So it had to be it had to be broader. It couldn't just be something just for men. So it morphed into the village.
Mm. Okay.
That's what it morphed into because when it started, it was Bolo TV, right? So
Okay.
once it morphed, Bolo TV was gone. Now it's the village.
Okay.
And I think the name in itself, because I looked, I looked for a name that would kind of say in itself what this channel was about and what you can come to see and what you will feel and what our focus is and what our message is intended to be. And there was nothing better than the village. The village. It's a place where we know what the change needs to be, and we look in the mirror and we become that change. We don't wait for the politicians to pander to us. We sit there and we say something needs to change. Let's be that change, right? Let's be that inspiration. Let's be that catalyst. And it's about inclusion, about being there. It's about love. So it's a safe place, and I think that's, and I talked a lot, but that's basically how the inception of the channel came.
So you've been doing it for about a year now, you say?
About a year and 4 months, I would say. About a year and 4 months.
So the young man, would you tell everyone how old he was?
He was about 16. 16.
I'm sorry. My
That's
dog is trying to
okay.
get my
That's all
attention.
right. Let the dog go, man. We
It's
hear
fine.
that. Dog is invited.
It is so funny because I swear dogs are like children. Because again, he wasn't concerned about me a minute ago, but now he wants to bring his squeaky toy in here. I'm busy. So
Oh
anyway,
wow. Now he's about 16. You know,
wow.
life of the party, talkative, loud, funny. Um, and you would never think if you didn't know what to look for, you would say, nah, this dude, he's good. And that's not what the situation was. So it really messed me up in the aspect of what did I do wrong? You know, this was a young man that was under my nose
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't see it. I didn't see it. And I took it very personal. It messed me up, you know, and to the point where I just said, you know what, this we got to stop. So the channel was created, and I believe the first episode was dedicated to him. Um, and that's how we came here. You know, so we talk about spiritual injuries. We talk about how we have to retrogress to progress, because a lot of the
Mm.
times our emotional child don't match our carnal child, right? So fleshly, I'm 48, but a lot of the times when you go through that trauma, you get stuck at where you are. And I give this example, like, you ever go back to your school reunion and everyone are doctors, astronauts, physicists, and cats are slaying dragons and all that stuff, and then you have that one person who everyone picked on that is still left in 1993. That's
Mm.
because that trauma that they had, they have not been able to let it go, and they live there. So although time has shown on their body, it hasn't shown on their spirit. So we talk about the spiritual injuries. We talk about everything that this world does, whether we want to believe it or not, is spiritual, and everything is connected to the Most High. So we talk about cell phones and how cell phones, right? It has to get that upload. It has to be connected to the network and get that upload. And then when you get that upload, it shows it. You hit the download, and it goes to sleep. It uploads it, then it wakes up. It's the same thing with man. If
Mm.
you're not connected to that spiritual network, you're working with an old operating system, right? You're on Android 4 when we're supposed to be on 12. So when you go to sleep, his instructions are downloaded into you and then uploaded into you so that when you wake up, you can continue doing what you needed to do. So we connect everything that we go through in life and in this world to the good book, because the good book consists of everything that goes on in life and in this world.
It does.
Yeah. So that's how we connect it. So that's, that's it in a nutshell. We argue too, but
I've called it a couple of times, and this is really good because I did not even know. I mean, I knew that you called in to Lapeef on Thursdays like I did, but I did not
right.
know that you had a channel. So, and I forget how I found out that you did.
I think
I think
people
maybe I
found out because it said Bolo TV. So I
okay.
guess they kind of asked, does the dude have a channel or whatever the situation might be? And I guess if you look up the name, they would see the icon that they say awake.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for the icon is, we sit in front of his television all day, and it's spewing hate,
Mm.
over sexualization, it's spewing fear, all these different things. So when you filter the world through that book, you see what needs to be seen, and you know what needs to be taken in and what needs to be thrown away. So another thing people ask is why I don't show my face.
You okay? You're getting ahead of me. I was just about
Okay,
to
okay, okay,
ask
okay. I'll
that.
let you go. I'll
No,
let you
no,
get that.
no. Go ahead because I was literally just about to ask you that. So go ahead. Absolutely.
Okay. The reason why I don't show my face is I was kind of I was really thinking about, should I show my face or should I not? But then I looked around YouTube and I seen that it doesn't matter what the message is. The people always argue the people. They don't argue
Mm.
the message. They argue the person. So I already knew that I was going to get backlash for you only seeing an icon and a little kid watching a TV. And I knew that. But what my biggest focus is I want people to focus on the message that I have. There's just so much you can say about this icon, right? You can make fun of it. Looks like a little white kid watching a big 45-inch television. That's the most you can get out of it. Or you
Right.
can make fun of my voice. What I really want everyone to focus on is the message, right? I don't want people to focus on what I look like, what I should look like, how tall I might be, how short I might be, you know. So that was the purpose in me not showing my face.
Excuse me.
Bless you, bless
I'm
you, bless you.
sneezing. um, but thank you. And again, I I didn't have a problem with it because again, whatever a person's reasons are their reasons, and I'm going to respect that. So, I had no issue with it whatsoever. Um, I'm glad that you came through. I'm
I was,
glad that
I,
you came through.
I was glad that I was invited.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So, for those of you who don't know, I mean, you've probably heard me talk about this many a times over the course of since May and with my daughter. Um, I started this channel back in May for a couple of reasons. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. May is also my birthday month, and May is Mother's Day month. Every time something pivotal happened in my life, it was really almost during the month of May, almost every time. So the 8th of May, I think it was the 8th, let me go back, but I do believe it was the 8th of May, which was a Sunday. No, okay, it was the 9th of May. It was a Sunday. My granddaughter had just been born April 29th. You all know that I married the love of my lifetime. We've been together 3 years, married for 2. We had just watched church and everything was great. But all of a sudden, there was just this heaviness I could not shake. I could not shake it. And it came out of nowhere. And I told my husband that I was going to go for a walk. And so when I have this routine when I get ready to go for a walk, particularly if I'm going to walk my dog, I put some my little fanny pack on. A lot of times I'll wear it regardless, but every time I walk my dog, I have the fanny pack on. So I put my fanny pack on, and he came running like we were getting ready to go outside. I said, "No, I'm going by myself this time, Duke." So I was walking, listening to music, and it's like literally, you've seen those cartoons that you have an angel on one side and a devil on the other. It's like I was going back and forth in my head, telling me to walk out in traffic, to kill myself. Literally. Walk out in traffic to kill myself because this heaviness, I could not shake it. So at the moment when I'm literally battling, well, I'm gonna step out, not like double dutch, like, am I gonna do it? I'm gonna do it. This song from Fred Hammond came on my playlist, and it said, "I cried Jesus, don't pass me by." And in that moment, when
So
that
I
song started,
cried, Jesus,
yes,
I need you.
yes,
Please don't pass me by.
yes. At that moment, I just cried, cried, cried. I stood, on the sidewalk, just crying, crying, crying. And that was my signal that God held me and saved me, because I literally was battling in my mind for no apparent reason. Okay. No apparent reason. So that Monday, I called my supervisor and told him that I was going to take extended leave as I needed to get some help. I needed to get some help. And I started going to counseling. Now, mind you, I had already been diagnosed after the military with major depressive disorder and anxiety. So I'd already been diagnosed back in 2007, but I'd been able to manage it with proper medication and stuff like that. But for some reason, I don't didn't know if I needed an adjustment. I don't know. But at any rate, so I went and got some help, got therapy, took an extended leave from work, and then I decided to start the process to retire. And that's when I found YouTube, because I was starting to write a journal. That was one of the forms of therapy that they want us to do, write a journal. I don't like writing because my handwriting is horrible. So I thought the way to do it was to kind of put my thoughts out in a video journal of sorts. And initially, it was just going to be for me and to have a record of it to maybe share with my daughter or my granddaughter. But it started to I decided to put it out there to share, to help somebody else. And as I've gone through several iterations of the direction I wanted to go with it, um, I started to share more of my life, because when we consider trauma, we consider mental illness. Some of it can be traced back to childhood trauma. And let's just be honest, the Black community was not big on therapy of any shape, form, or fashion. We all had relatives or knew people back in the day. They said, oh, so and so they touched, or, they're special. So there was a stigma related to it that you just didn't want to be a part of that. So you shied away from it. Um, but knowing now that it's no different than any other illness that people have to be treated for, I would have been doing myself a disservice, as well as my daughter a disservice, not to take hold of or accept what I was dealing with. So that's why I started the channel, and to share my life's journey, as it relates to my mental health challenges, as it relates to relationship challenges, as it relates to being a mom and some of the things I did wrong in that vein. So here it is. Here it is.
Word. Can't. That's a beautiful thing. I look at it like it's a testimony, right? We have information that we've gone through, and how dare us not share it with the generation coming up behind us so that they don't make the same mistakes we made.
Yes.
However, it's a two-way street. We deliver this message, and hopefully they take it, learn from it, and then apply it. Right? We have something in a village that we call the AAA: acknowledgement, acceptance, and application. So acknowledgement is acknowledge that you're the reason why you're in the place that you're in today. Right? The scripture says that there is no judgment higher than your own. So no matter how much advice Auntie gives you or Bolo gives you, you make the last decision. So you stand on your square. Because guarantee you, if you're getting the damn Nobel Peace Prize, you don't need nobody on that stage with you. You by yourself to take all that accolades. So have that same energy when it's time to take the nonsense. And
Right.
then you have to have acceptance. To every action as a reaction. So because of your decision you made, you ended up here. And in between acknowledgement and acceptance is the learning curve. And that's where a lot of us fall short, because the only way you can learn from that learning curve is to accept the decision that you made and know it is because of you. If I blame Auntie, I'm not going to learn. That information that can make me a better version of myself so that I can learn and apply it to me and be a better man tomorrow, I'm not going to gain, because I shifted the learning curve. So once
Mm.
you gain that acceptance, because we know growth is not comfortable. There's no comfortability in growth. Then you slide up on into application. You take the information that you've learned and then you apply it and watch it work. And that's our problem. Our problem is we're not patient.
Hmm.
Our problem is we don't take our time to be still in the Most High. Everybody wants it now. We don't want to do the work to figure out what it is to be a man so that I can go out there and get my woman. And I want you to hear what I just said. Go out there and get my woman.
Grow them. Grow them. Okay.
They don't want to do
Grow
it.
them.
They don't want to do the work. They don't want to learn what their value is so that they can demand their worth. And that's the problem. The problem is they don't know what their worth is. How do I know what a woman is looking for if I don't know what I'm looking for? How can I please a woman if I don't know how to please myself? If I don't know what my worth is, if I don't know what to have integrity, character, to be a focus, to be intentional, to be a God-fearing man, to do the work. Because if I'm going to find it a wife, she needs to find it the husband.
Straight up.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a two-way street. It seems that when we talk as men, it's always one way. It's always us finding a wife. Okay, well, what about her finding a husband? It's not supposed to be just one way. It's supposed to be two ways. But because men have not had a voice in a very long time and they're hurt, they're doing the same thing that women are doing when it comes to feminism. Women are blaming men. Men are blaming women. No one is taking accountability for what they're doing. And it's the same thing. It's like the hottest fire is blue. The coldest ice is blue. When you put your hand in the hottest fire, you put your hand in the coldest ice, you get the same results. The same results. Burn. They look the same, whether it's frostbite or it's burn. They look the same. And that right there is amazing to me how the Lord does that. That it's two polar opposites, but it's the same
result.
Same result.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what you're doing, when you're hurt is you don't want to take time to figure things out. You want to put pain on somebody. You want someone to feel what you're feeling. And that's what these men are doing when they go into the manosphere. And it's not every man or every content created in the manosphere, but damn sure there's a lot. There's a whole lot that make these men continue in their dysfunction. These men are not learning that thought didn't rape you. You knew she was a thought, but you wanted to play Russian roulette. And
Speak on it. Speak on it.
So you can't blame her for taking you to court and getting you for child support, messing up your license and putting you in jail. You knew what you was dealing with. You know that a condom isn't 100%. The only thing we know 100% is abstinence. It's the only thing that's 100%. So when you put that condom on and it breaks, it is what it is. Acknowledgement. See how that acknowledgement, acceptance, and application comes in AAA? You have to acknowledge that it's your fault, but we don't want to. So where is the learning curve? How do I become a good father when I don't take responsibility for what I've done?
Speak on it.
I'm blaming you, TJ. You're the reason why I ended up with this child, not because of me. You understand? So we have to sit there and say, okay, I understand what she is. She's an opportunist, but I was the one that gave her the opportunity. This is what cats ain't seeing.
Peep game. I have shared also. You talk about acknowledgement, acceptance.
Acknowledgement, acceptance, and application. AAA.
Okay. Yes, because when I got pregnant with my daughter at 26, I had her at 27. I really bought into or kept saying that I wasn't trying to get pregnant and blah, 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 blah. But once I got growed real, once I got growed real, okay, I had to say, Terry, you wasn't trying not to either, because I was taking birth control haphazardly. Okay.
Mm.
Right. You know,
Speak
I
on
would,
it.
take some here and miss a couple of days and then double up here, all that kind of stuff, and then want to act surprised when I got pregnant. Okay, come on now. So again, I had to own my part, right? Because I share with these young people that once I had my daughter, if I didn't take, I'm just going to say it like I have to say it. If I didn't take shit else, I took my birth control pills. You understand me? And I never had to slip up again. So
See?
proof that it works.
Triple A. You learned from it and you became a better person. You acknowledged that it was because of you that you
Mhm.
ended up in the place that you were, and that's where that learning curve came from. You grew yourself. A lot of us don't have that strength. A lot of us tend to shift blame because it's easy. That's what the enemy wants you to do. It's hard to look in the mirror. We have a person that's on our channel, right? And
Mhm.
she's the resident doctor, Lyric.
Mm. Okay.
And she brought up a very good point. And she said that a lot of people don't want to spend time with themselves because they don't want to look at what's looking back at them.
Ooh, that's good.
Deep. That's deep. That's deep.
Okay, hold that thought. You're
Okay.
so right, because I don't know if you were already on, but I was talking about what people did over the weekend. And I remember saying when I was in my 20s and 30s, I was not home for the weekend. I had to be gone doing something. But it wasn't until, again, later, getting grown real, that the reason I had to be doing something, because I didn't want to be dealing with myself.
Right.
I didn't like my own company. So
Right.
by doing stuff and being out, it took the focus off of me.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Even
now
if
I
you
love living. I love being by myself sometimes.
that's I man, I go to lunch by myself. I go to the movies by myself. I can sit in my boom boom room all day by myself. I love myself.
Yes.
And it takes a lot for a person to look into that mirror and say, listen, we all have flaws, you know.
Hmm.
But when you look at the core and you can say that, you know what, I'm still a good person. I got some, I got some work to do. We all do.
Yeah.
However, it's not easy. It's not easy. The enemy doesn't want you to take responsibility. It's bliss not to take responsibility for what you do. Because
Right.
Tommy says something all the time, right? So I don't want to act like I made it up, even though I've said it in the real world, but on the YouTube it's a whole different world. You know, once you realize that you're the problem, you have to also become the solution.
Lord, Lord, Lord.
It's
Okay, listen. So that's a perfect segue into, we're going to discuss real love in
let's
relationships.
talk about it. Let's talk about it. I'm an open book. Let's talk about it.
Okay, look. Whew.
We got the same chair, right?
Uh-uh.
My
Oh,
chair is it's maroon, mine,
okay.
but we got the same chair. I've always wanted to tell you that.
Listen. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. I always wanted to be married. Didn't know what that looked like, but knew I wanted it. Knew I wanted to love and be loved. Thought I was doing it the right way, wasn't. Attracting the wrong type of dude into my life. So again, throughout the iterations of my life, because somebody said, I don't know who it was, maybe it was you, that said, um, when you talk to a therapist, well, I think it was during our conversation earlier. We were talking about therapists, and again, you mentioned it again here. They allow you to speak the solution. They don't give it to you. They don't spoon feed you. They kind of, ask clarifying questions so you can come to, the realization on your own. But at one point, I was seeing my therapist after the last relationship that ended very badly, with the physical bruises as well as emotional. And he asked me a question. He said, have you noticed a common theme? So initially I was like, yeah, they this and they that and they this.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
he did. And he said, no, that's not exactly what I mean. He says, what is the commonality? So,
Mm.
he asked a couple of clarifying questions. I kept saying they. Well, then he says, do you notice a common person? And then I said, oh, it's me.
You wasn't getting it.
No, no, no.
You
Yeah.
got it after he said that, though.
Yeah. And then here's the thing, too. Another thing, you talk about the man should be preparing to be a husband. I wasn't preparing to be a wife, even though I thought I was, but apparently I wasn't because I didn't attract what I said I wanted. As a matter of fact, I was attracting exactly the opposite of what I said I wanted.
Hmm.
That's crazy.
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Say that one more again for the people in the back.
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Mm,
I'm
that's
full
a
of
good word.
cliches, baby. I'm full of them. All I'm going to say is I don't care who take them. Just give me
Yeah,
50 cent after you say it. That's all. Just give me
right.
a quarter, 50 cent, whatever. I don't care who take them. But yeah, it. You know, what you push out, and a lot of times it's subliminal and it's subconscious. You don't even know. You
Right.
have no clue that that's what you're pushing out. You have no clue. And then you realize that, damn, I'm only attracting these types of chicks. Why is it? It's even when you look at when again, and I always use the manosphere, but let's just use me. You when I was young, I used to always say, why am I attracting these chicks? And then you have to look at yourself and say, the common denominator in all of these things is me.
Hmm.
It's me. And then it ends the same way. It all ends the same way. Why does it end the same way? I'm the problem. And it's so hard for you to look and say you are the problem. But listen, I've been dealing with Christ truthfully since 93. It's not an easy thing, man. I didn't have, uh, we had this conversation. I didn't have a childhood. You can have it, Jamal. I didn't have a childhood like a lot of these kids had. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Because I was restricted because I was dealing with the Most High. So there was a lot of things that I had to cut out real quick. I had to grow myself up, like you say, and understand that this world is a playing field for what is to come. When you read certain scriptures and it tells you, seek me while there is yet still time. Cats don't
Okay.
understand. The Lord is so dangerous in the way he speak and so dynamic in the way that he speak that he can say four different things in one sentence. So when he tells you seek me while there's yet still time, he's telling you, gee, there's going to be a time when you can't find me. So get this while it's good. Cats don't get it that they don't understand how the Holy Spirit moves. They think the Holy Spirit is like a PA system. It's gonna yell out, move left, move right. It's not it ain't
Yes.
gonna work. It ain't gonna work like that. The Lord's chosen is gonna move because those that have the Holy Spirit on them, He's gonna talk to them and tell them what to do and how to do it and when to do it. And those that are not.
Listen, it goes back, and I truly believe that the Holy Spirit at that point in time of all the songs I was listening to,
Mm,
at that moment when I'm double dutching whether or not I'm going to walk out into traffic,
mm.
the Holy Spirit, that song.
That's it. We play that song. We get flagged for it anyway, but we don't care, right? The only thing we ask guys to pay is attention and pay it forward, right? Um, we monetized our channel, and I asked the channel. I said, "Do you?"
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. We asked the channel, "Do do you want to monetize?" Because they're kind of forcing you into these three tiers, And I was asking, listen, this money is going back into the village for those that need help, for
Mm.
those that need food, water, shelter, whatever the case may be, because it's hard asking, or it's hard the same people doing from their pocket.
Yes.
Rilla, so that was the purpose of it. You know, if the bulk of the village would have said, nah, we ain't doing it, then it wouldn't have been monetized. We wouldn't have accepted it. We wouldn't have
That's
accepted it.
awesome.
But being that they was like, yeah, because now that we have, and they had to force me into, each tier you got to give something different, or you got to say something different. I just wrote for the village war chest. That's
Okay.
what it's for.
Okay.
It ain't nothing. You ain't getting nothing special. You ain't gonna get on 5 minutes before the village is supposed to broadcast. I ain't gonna call you at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, "Wake up." You ain't getting none of that. You know what I'm saying? So, it, you know, this is just what it is. It's us saying we are tired of waiting and tired of being on the sidelines. And when it comes to love, a lot of us look at love as just being an emotion.
Hmm.
I love you and I don't love her, or I fell out of love. You wasn't in love. You met love's cousin, near love. It's like death, right? A lot of people say I seen death. If you seen death, you dead. You dead. You
Okay.
seen death's cousin near death. That's what you saw.
Okay,
So
there's feedback and echo. Okay, let me trace. He said Rilla said there's feedback and echo
yeah, is
coming
that coming
in.
from me?
No, it might be coming from me. Hold on a
I don't
minute.
hear it from you. I think I hear a little echo when I speak.
Hmm. Let me try something else. Just one. Hold that thought, Bolo.
Sure, sure, sure.
I'm struggle streaming, so I might have to. Let's see here. Do do do.
Bluetooth disconnected.
Okay. So what about now?
Yo, do
Okay.
y'all still hear the echo? Do you still hear it?
Do you still hear the echo?
Press one if you hear the echo.
Hmm.
I hate that YouTube is like 30 seconds behind. So anytime we say something on StreamYards, yeah, they're saying it's me. So they said one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna log out, log back in, and see
Okay.
if that works. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you all for joining in. Rilla, let's see. I think it is. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Cash App is right here. The C, um, Mosaic TJ Randolph. Let me see. Bolo.
Yo.
What
See, I don't
about
hear it now.
now?
I don't hear it now.
Okay, you don't hear it now.
No, I don't hear it because I
Okay.
was hearing it on my end.
Oh, you were. Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was hearing a little bit of it. So
Okay. So you were talking about love. You were saying
right.
that.
So when we're talking about love, and you hear people saying that I fell out of love, and that wasn't love. And I tried to explain this when I was on, La Pif, that you mentioned it, and
Mhm.
we go into depth um on our channel, right? And love has two directions, right? It has the direction where it's perpendicular, and then there's a direction of it being linear.
Mhm.
So let me just speak for man first.
Okay.
So when we're talking about love, before I'm a father and before I'm a husband, I am a man, right? So the common denominator of all those three things is being a man. So it doesn't matter
Mhm.
whether I'm a father or a husband. Some men won't be fathers, some men won't be husbands, but you will always be a man. So I'm saying it to say that once you are connected to the Most High, perpendicular, your love is going up,
Yeah.
right? And you understand what you're supposed to do. You understand your intention, your focus. You understand what you're supposed to be. You understand how you're supposed to move, integrity, character, truth. You stand on your square. It's
Mhm.
perpendicular. Now the Lord tells you, Jeremiah 29:11, that, I wrote a story for you. I'm guiding you, right? I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to grow you. So, you're looking for that woman that is also in that perpendicular love with the Most High, right? Before she's a mother, before she's a wife, she's a woman.
Yeah.
And that love is perpendicular, right? So she understands that this is her purpose, this is her focus, this is her attention, this is what she's supposed to do. Same as the man. So now when you two come together, now the love that you have is not only perpendicular, it's linear. It's towards each other. Because you have to understand that the love that you have is bigger than you too, right? The focus and the direction that you're going in is bigger than you two. So this is why you can go through hell, high water. You still gonna work it out. It's not an option of leaving because your love has no roof. When your love is just linear between you two, there's no strength in that. What gives us the strength? And I say this all the time. I had a guy on my channel that was talking about women, and I said to him, and I said this to you too, and I said that it sounds like you have a problem with women in your life, and you come on YouTube to kind of show that you are masculine and dominant. But this is virtue, my G. You turn this off. In your real life, you're weak. And what these guys call simps. I don't like using that, but for the sake of this conversation, right? My woman doesn't submit to me because of who I am. She submits to me because of who I serve.
You better
This is
say
what
it
you have
again for
to
the people in the
understand.
back.
My woman does not submit to me because of who I am. She submits to me because of who I serve.
Mm.
And that's what keeps her in order. Not the fear of man, but the fear of the Most High. Because when I'm not around, she can do whatever she wants to do. But because of the fear, because of that love that's perpendicular, remember? The Most High is checking her. Same thing with me. What keeps me in order? The Most High, not her. The Most High keeps me in order. I'm afraid of him that if I get out of order, he's going to put his foot in my behind. So when it's just linear and it's just you two, therein lies the problem. There is no one checking you and there is no one checking me. And that's the issue. So now when we come into love, love is an emotion. Love is the result of something, right? So there's a lot of pillars that fall under love. It's like the Roku box. I don't know if you know what the Roku box or these smart TVs. These smart
Yes.
TVs have all these different apps, and we call that in IT a hub, where you don't have to go. We can bring everything into one place, and then it goes wherever it needs to go. It's called the hub. So if you want to look at Apple television and Netflix and all that, you get the smart TV. It's all there. You don't have to buy different apps or different boxes. Love is the same thing. Love is the hub of a lot of things that formulates love, right? Sympathy, empathy, charity, kindness, forgiveness, loyalty, truth, emotion, direction, patience, financial health, protection, nourishing, generosity. And there are so many other things that are that are pillars in love. These are the things that formulate. I like that. I'm taking that, Jamal. Roku love. I'm taking it. It's mine. I'll give you a quarter next time I see you. So these things is what formulates love. If you don't have these things in it, it's not love. It's something close to it. It could be lust. It could be admiration. Here's the thing with depression. Sometimes you can have a manic depressive and a person that's just happy. They both have similar traits. Like the Joker, he's a manic depressive.
Ooh.
If you look at him from far away, the dude looks happy, but he's a maniac. He's
Yes.
crazy. So admiration and lust sometimes can have similar traits to love, but it's not love. So when you have all of these things, all of these pillars, and now it's love, you understand that it's stronger than you because there's only one man that you can have in your life that can give you all these things. That's Christ Jesus. It's only one man that can give you all these things where you are truly in love. It's him. So then you have to take those attributes that he gave or those attributes that he exhibits and apply it to yourself. Because it's easy to judge everybody. And when I say judge, I mean condemn. because we're supposed to judge. Don't get it twisted. We're not supposed to condemn. So it's very easy to condemn somebody, right? So when a man understands what he's supposed to do and what his connection to the Most High is, and what being a husband is, being a father is, it all entails in being a man of the Most High. See, being a man of the Most High, you're able to contort yourself into any situation. There was an interview with Bruce Lee, and they asked Bruce Lee, if you could be anything you want, what would it be? He said, water. And they looked at him and said, what the hell you mean water? He said, you put water into a pot, it becomes the pot. You put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. Water is one of the hardest hitting forces in earth, but yet one of the most smoothest. He looked at the camera and said, be water, my friend. That blew my mind away, because something so simple can be so true. And a lot of the times we're looking for wizardry, and we're looking for, all of these different mathematics when it's simple. It's not hard. It's simple as hell. So once you understand that, now we go into Proverbs 31. Once you give that woman that agape love, that love that we're talking about, now her response to you is the virtuous woman. That's her response. See, love is like being angry. It's a response. She responds to something, right? If I slap the hell out of you, you're going to respond. So love has a response. And her response to that, if she's in linear love with Christ, when she formulates that perpendicular love, perpendicular, linear love to you, that's what keeps us in order. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't fall, because we all going to fall short. But the point is, we understand that we both have a direction. We both have an intention, and we're intentionally moving that way. So quitting is not an option.
Bolo, you see
Yes.
the question from Mr. Bennett. I'm going to defer to you on that.
Or he says, so would you say only Christians have good and proper marriages? Are Hindus, Muslims, or even atheists capable of successful love? This is what I'm going to say, and I'm going to be intentional on what I say, okay? Because a lot of the times I've been told that I'm too nice. So let me start here on Miss TJ's auntie. I'm going to start being mean tonight.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm going to be 100%.
Okay.
If you ain't got Christ in your life, you don't know what real love is. You may have semblances of love, right? And we give this example where we have a lizard. They cannot control or regulate their body heat. So what do? They climb up on a rock. The sun heats them up, and then they go back into the water or whatever the hell they came from. That's man. When you don't have that self-love and understand what your worth is, a lot of us gravitate towards that light that warms us up. We don't matter if it's hot light, good light, bad light. We just want to be warm. We just want to feel something because we're cold. And we gravitate towards that woman that is not good to us, good for us. But because she says something that is similar to what love could be, because remember, we have nothing to measure it up against, right? So it's like if you have a little girl that has no father. She has a hole in her chest, a hole in her heart in the shape of her father. Who does she measure all these different men up against? The first man she falls in love with is her father. The first woman that a little boy falls in love with is his mother. They measure. And this might sound perverted, but listen to what I'm saying. I have two daughters. And I asked this, right? My eldest daughter is engaged. And this is the question. What's the difference between my relationship with her and his relationship with her? And people say, I say the difference is he sleeps with her and I don't. He does the same thing I do: protect, nourishes, guides, sacrifice. He does the same thing. I just handed the baton to him. It's the same thing. What do women do with their husbands? Take care of them like they take care of children. When they're sick, you know how we get sick. When we get sick, the earth got to stop.
Yes.
We get a little cold. We saying, we screaming. You
That's
know,
how I knew something was wrong. When my husband was sick, I'm like, yeah, you're right.
so that's the difference. And it's not me trying to put anybody down because I respect what you do. I have total respect for it. However, if you're going to ask me on what I stand on that book called the Holy Bible. And our perfect example um, in the Holy Bible of love, of manhood, sisterhood, brotherhood, of understanding, patience is our Lord and Savior. He's the ultimate example of everything, period. Everything, everything of a leader.
Yes,
Leaders don't lead with an iron fist. Christ didn't lead with an iron fist. He led
with
with
love
patience.
and
He led
love.
with
Yes,
love. He
yes,
said,
yes.
although I am your king, I am your brother. Let me wash your feet. This is what you kings don't get. This is what you men don't get. This is what you benevolent kings don't get. That you're more of a servant when you become a leader. You're more of a servant. You serve more. And you can't forget where you came from. A lot of us tend to forget where we came from. You know what I'm saying? And that's why the Lord deals with broken people, because he wants those broken people that he fixed to go get broken people. That's what he wants. And that's what we have to understand. That's my man Ant. There's a difference between a godly marriage based on a covenant and state sanctioned marriage based on partnership. He's 100% right.
Yeah.
So when you get married just on, and I hear a lot of people say marriage is a partnership, partnership, partnership. It's a business. Where the hell y'all get that from? Where y'all get marriage as a business? I understand if, listen, let me explain something to you. That my marriage is not a business, my G. Do I use it for business purposes in this world? Hell yeah, I do. But it's not a business.
Right.
It's not a business. So,
You know what?
go ahead, darling.
I'm sorry to interrupt. You make
No.
a good point because I remember I did a Facebook Live or something like that. And I said with my husband, I know that's not why he married me, for business purposes.
Word.
There's some benefits or fiscal benefits, but that's not why he married me.
Exactly. But you hear a lot right now that love is not part of marriage. That's not the first thing that we go for. I don't know what people are talking about. They're out of their mind. They're out of their mind because people start to think and they think that love is just an emotion. They don't understand that love is financial also, because if I love you, I want to make sure that we're financially straight. If I love you, love is health. If I love you, I want to do my best to stay as healthy as I can to live with you as long as I can.
Yes.
If I love
Yes.
you, I want to stay nourishing. I want to be able to teach you and keep you nourished. If I love you, I want to protect you. They don't understand that love is not just an emotion. All of these things is what inhibit that emotion called love.
Okay, I'm gonna get real deep for a minute. Y'all men,
Let's put on
hold up.
scuba gear.
Men, I want you to just hold your horses. Okay. When me and my husband got together 3 years ago, oh, my scarf is coming apart. Okay, when me and my husband got together 3 years ago, he's 2 years older than me. I asked him if he had ever had a colonoscopy. He said he had not. I said, you need to do that because I've been having one regularly. I said, listen, I know this is not something you want to do. I said, but I need you here. I need you. This is a screening, just like I have my mammograms. I want to be together as long as possible. I need you to do whatever we need to do to make sure that we are taking care of our health. So it goes to what you're saying. We need to do whatever we need to do to make sure we're healthy, that we can be together.
Responsible. Responsibility.
So
Anthony said
I
it earlier.
finally got him to do it. But again, it goes,
I've done
and
it.
here's the thing. This goes to something that I never would have thought of in my 20s
No.
or 30s.
But
Okay.
see, that's how far removed we are. When you look at other nationalities, When you look at other uh, 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 nations, they teach this
Mm-hmm.
to their children. Their children are grown up around this because they
Yes.
have that village. It's not just the family, it's families
Oh,
that
yeah.
form that
Say it now.
community. See, in us, we don't have that. I'm trying to get mine, and I'm not worried about what you're worried about until death knocks on my door. Now I want everybody that I didn't care about to come knocking on my door. I did a stream a few weeks ago about a woman in Philadelphia that was raped on a train, and no one did nothing.
I saw that mess.
No
I'm
one
like,
did
what
nothing.
the hell is this?
Yeah. And then a woman comes,
Yes.
a woman comes on and says, I saw it and it was tragic. And I'm paraphrasing. And my response to that is, you watched it. You watched a woman. Their biggest beef was, why did it take 3 minutes for the police to come when it was in between stops? And the police said, well, why didn't y'all do something? Why didn't y'all do so? It's the same thing like my man Dave Chappelle said when he made the video of R. Kelly Piss on You. He said, I saw R. Kelly, and R. Kelly said, well, why did you do that video of Piss on You? He said, well, why the hell did you do it? I was doing a parody. You really did it. So how you gonna ask me that question, my G? You gave me you gave me the information to do it with. So the point of
Wow.
the matter is we have to get involved. We have to. It's not until death knocks on our door, then we wonder why everyone else isn't trying to do something.
Listen, and here's the thing. You know, we live in a world that I never would have fathomed that that you can watch something and do nothing. I can't even imagine it. But here's the thing, check this out. 20 years ago, the reason that I think it was flight 93, I could be wrong, did not, that crashed in Pennsylvania
Oh, you're
is
talking
because
about 9/11?
is because those passengers took action. They took action. Because even though, and again, it's a tragedy, how much worse could it have been? They took action. They didn't not gonna sit idly by. I don't understand that. I never
Well,
would have thought that but we live in a world
mhm.
that people would rather videotape it
There you go. You just read my mind. World star.
than do something about it.
Word. Yeah.
I'm disgusted.
Well,
Okay,
my man. Well, let me say this to you, Paul Bennett. I'm not a Christian. Okay. I deal with the scriptures. Christ didn't say when he died, start the religion Christianity. So I'm not a Christian. I'm a Christ follower. So I don't want to get locked in or, you know, compartmentalized into any religion. I don't conform to any religion. But if a person wants to talk and they're going to use Christianity for the purpose of saying that they're a Christ follower, then we can move on and we can have that conversation. But if you're going to talk to me in the form of a religion, then we're on two different bases. You know what I'm saying? I'm on third base with a hockey stick. I'm not playing the game right. So we're on two different bases. You know what I'm saying? Because religion is man based. It was built by man. It was built to control. The book don't need man to control it. The book says what the book says. I don't need to tell you that I'm a Christian or I'm a Muslim, whatever. I just read what it says. I just tell you to be responsible. I just tell you to have patience. I just tell you to be tenderhearted. I just tell you to love Christ, be still in him, have a relationship with him. I didn't tell you no religion. Christ wasn't about religion. You see, this is what we get caught up on. Um, um, Bennett, we get caught up on the Old Testament when it talks about church and how you had to reverence before you went into the church. You had to fast, you had to do all these things to go into the church, which is true. But Christ tells you that the Old Testament was the schoolmaster. It was the shadow of what was to come. He tells you that the throne, heaven is his throne, and the earth is his footstool. Who can put him in a building made with man's hands? Buildings are dead. Brick and
Mm.
mortar is dead. That's why he tells you that you are the temple of Christ. You are always meant to be the church. So when you understand and you reverence the building, he says, how much more the living testimony, the living temple, you. So if you want me to live in you, this is how you have to prepare yourself. So all of those things was just a shadow of what was to come. So if you understand what Christ was about, even with Mary Magdalene, when they brought the law, because remember, they just brought this woman and threw her to Christ. They didn't bring the man. They were both having sex, but they only brought the shorty. And they had stones in their hand, ready to stone her. And Christ said, I get it, my G. Word. The law says stone her. Word. I got it. But he who has no sin cast the first stone. That was the covenant of the Spirit. He found them guilty in their conscience, in their spirit, which trumped the law. And what did they
Mm.
do? They walked away. But hold on. Mary Magdalene wasn't free. What did he tell her? Go and sin no
Say
more.
no more.
So we need to start to understand and really start to rightly divide the word, man. We need to start reading the book, the whole entire book, to gain clarity and context of what it's saying. We need to gain it. So when we're talking about love, understand what it is. This is why he says to you in the scriptures, right? We have to understand that when you read Revelations, the Lord tells you that the church, the temple of God, is with men. Because there was an order, right? There was God, Christ, man, woman, child. Man is the glory of Christ, women are the glory of man. So when you look in Corinthians and Christ tells you, women, submit yourselves to your husbands as you would do unto Christ. What does that mean? That means give yourself over to him, period. Now that's a lot of power because you just gave me your life. But what does Christ come back and say? Husbands, love your wives like I love the church, aka the temple. So the way I loved you, because you're my wife spiritually, love them the same way. I sacrificed, I was patient, because you dudes, you want to talk about having sex with other men. You guys had sex with other gods.
Mm.
You guys made love to other gods. You guys
Wow.
were passionate with other gods, and I still took you back. I still was patient with you. I still loved you, still gave you grace. How much more your woman? You want to put her away because she cheated? We all say that. My woman cheat, I'm out. And then when it happens, don't tempt the Most High, my brothers.
Mm.
Don't tempt him. A lot of times when people ask me a question and it's a situation that I've never been in, what I say is, I think if I was in that situation, this is what I think I would do. I'm not going to sit here and say, this is what I would do, son. And then when I'm in that situation, it's totally the opposite.
Okay,
Don't
check this
tempt the
out.
Most High.
Check this out. And this I remember, and this kind of is kind of off, but it's kind of on.
Okay.
I had a friend of mine that was in a relationship with the guy, and I could tell that maybe not, he was not maybe physically abusive, but he was definitely emotionally abusive. And he lived with her, and I kept telling her, get that in word get him out of your house. That's your house. You shouldn't be able to do this. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't stand for that, blah blah blah. And I kept telling her, this is what you should do. I would not take that. I would not this. Fast forward 2-3 years later, I found myself in the same situation, afraid in my own damn house.
Mm-hmm. You know, you,
Afraid in
you,
my
you,
own house.
and
I went to her
crazy.
and I apologized
Yep.
because she kept trying to tell me it's not that simple. It's
It's
not that
not
easy. And I'm like, what the hell you mean it's not that easy?
right.
I because I had never been in it. I didn't understand it. But when that happened to me,
You got it.
and I
You
was
got it.
afraid in my own house,
Yeah.
couldn't get the Negro
I
out of
remember the
my
story.
house?
I remember the story with the snake. I remember the
Right.
story. I remember the story. I was there when you told
I
me.
went to her and I apologized.
Yeah, you have to because now you see it. You know, I a good friend of mine, a brother of mine in Christ, lost his son. And I told him, yo, brother, you know what I'm saying? I gave him the answer that you would give someone from the scripture. It wasn't empathetic or sympathetic at all. I thought I was being, this was years ago. A year later, that brother's giving me the same conversation because I lost my son. And now I have to understand, like, I'm saying to myself that he's giving me the same speech that I gave him. And in my mind, I'm cursing the dude. But I have to understand that when you're empathetic and sympathetic to somebody, a lot of the times when you're coming from your perspective, it is offensive, right? It's not until you get into that wheelchair and sit in it for a week that when you give that advice, you're giving it from his or her perspective, not yours.
Because you don't know what the hell you talking about.
100% correct. And that's why the Lord tells you, get knowledge, get wisdom. But with all thy getting, get understanding. What does that mean? That means knowing how to apply wisdom and knowledge, learning how to apply it. It's so hard to apply it nowadays. Being being able to, we need to use emotion to connect with somebody. Because if I come to TJ and she's going through something, I come to you like a robot. Hey, TJ, I know that you are going through something. Here, even though I'm giving you the right medicine, you're not going to accept it because we didn't connect. And this is why the Lord says that I'm going to write this in your heart because he wants you to connect. It's not just a manual script. This is a love story that the Lord has written, and he wants you to connect in that manner, not just as instructions, because instructions can't get you to the Lord. It can't. They tried it in the Old Testament. That's why Christ had to come, because the Old Testament couldn't do it. A new covenant had to be formed. And what is that covenant? Love. Love. Strongest force on the earth. Love. And you may think I'm a punk or whatever. It's all good. Love. That's what we need. What this world needs now is love, love, love. And that's the point. So when you
Instead of the
say,
righteous indignation.
period, period. So instead of you being judgmental, and when a person says you're judgmental, that means that you're not giving wisdom and you're not judging them with patience and understanding. I can judge you with patience and understand. Say, "B, I understand what you're going through, but at the same time, it's still wrong." See, what they were doing in the Old Testament is, we gonna kill you for being wrong. My man said, not speaking about religion at all. You're missing my totality, okay? But we have to have a conversation, and we label. So if you want to use Christian or Christ follower, my point is the same. I stand on my point. I stand on my point. So if you're going to ask me again, so let me be more direct than I was before, because I thought I was direct. If you ain't got Christ, you ain't in love. That's it. Period. Now, will I have a conversation with a Muslim or whatever? Yes. Do I love you as a brother, as a sister? Yes. 100%. 100%. But I stand on my square when it comes to the Most High. So if you're not having Christ in your life, you ain't got love. You got something similar to it. There's a lot of Bugattis cars that look like Bugattis, but they're not. Period. So I hope that answered your question, Bennett.
Let's move forward a little bit. Okay, so what about the wisdom for our youth? And the reason why I said that, because you did share with me about the young man who took his life. And these young people, they're dealing with something that my generation never considered dealing with. Just like when I was growing up, my generation was considerably different than my mother's. Um, but wisdom is needed. I'm really, really appreciative of, despite things that I did not so well, one thing there's proof that I was here and I did well was that my daughter, she's very wise and she's wise beyond her years. And she has a discernment that I know that I did not have at 27. So what will be your whole or your words of wisdom for our youth to help them focus on the things that really matter?
I would say take your time. Don't you rush to get old. Mama used to say, take your time, man. You know, learn everything that you need to learn. Um, there's a difference between gliding and flying, right?
Mm,
When you glide, you're using someone else's propulsion and you don't pick where you land. You have to land. You can't tell when the wind is coming or when it's not, but you're in subjection to the elements. When you fly, you pick where you fly. You're intentional in how you fly. So take your time, learn, understand, get all of the information. There's a difference between sight and vision.
oh, that's good.
A lot of us have sight. A lot of us have sight. A lot of us can see, but a lot of us don't have vision. Vision goes beyond sight. And I said this to you before. Remember that little damn the Thundercats and that little damn cat Lionel will put that damn sword to his eyes and he'll say, "Sword of omens, give me sight beyond sight." That damn sword showed him everything, son. It showed him the other side of the planet. That's vision. Because
Mm,
vision doesn't only encompass your eyes, it encompasses your nose, it encompasses your touch, your feeling, it
your
encompasses
mind.
everything, your mind, your spirit. You feel things, you hear things, you see things, your intuition. All of these things are encompassed into that one word vision. Sight is only relying on your eyes. Here's the
Mm,
crazy thing. Let me show you how your eyes are so tricky. Do you know why when you press your brake, the your brake lights light up red? Do you know why?
no.
Because the human eye cannot judge distance. So even though you may turn your lights on and your lights are red, when you press the brake, it brightens up so that you're able to know that when you're driving, that that person is slowing down in front of you. Uncle Stu, the old man, what's going on, baby? So having just sight doesn't give you the totality of what you need to have and all the information you need. This is why eagles are at the top of the food chain and mice are at the bottom, because mice have sight. They see 2 inches in front of them. Eagles have vision. They see the whole landscape, everything, before they actually dive into kill.
So it's sight and then there's insight. You can take that.
Ooh.
You can
I'm
use it.
gonna give you a dime for that one. Yeah, I don't got a problem with paying for it. I don't got a problem with it. I
Yeah.
don't. You
There's
know,
sight, then there's insight.
word up. And this is what people don't understand. They don't understand. It's like standing next to a 100-foot Picasso painting and you're 2 inches away. You can't take in the totality of the painting. You can't appreciate everything. You have perspective of it, but I guarantee you, if you step 30 feet back, your perspective will change, because now you're seeing the whole painting. So now you can take everything in. A lot of us don't do that. A lot of us don't take the time to take in the whole frame, the whole panoramic view. A lot of us just rush in and we're snapshot. This is why when you look at boxing, every one of them have a damn corner man. Move, block, duck. Because when you're in that ring, and we all got a plan until we get punched in the nose. We all
Right.
have a plan. But you can't see what they can see. They see the totality of it. Referees can't even see everything. Sometimes they can cheat. How many times have we watched WWE and the dude pull out that little damn brick or rock and the referee can't see, but everyone in the audience can see? So you see everything. So you're able to say, this is what I would do. And this is
Mhm.
why the village, deja vu back on you, this is why the village is so important, because
It is.
if I have my perspective, What you went through in life is going to give you a different perspective. So when I come to sit down with TJ and say, tell me what you see with this, you open me up to a whole different world. You add to me and you make me better. You make me better. Why? Because I'm taking in that information that you got that I didn't have before, and I'm adding it to my arsenal. So now that I can see a whole lot better. So now I'm gaining insight instead of just sight.
Truth is never favored. Put something that's very key, because what I have found on these in these YouTube streets, whether it be the manosphere or whether it be anything speaking to the masses, I think if we look at it on a macro level, it's too overwhelming. It
Okay.
just is. So where you have to, in my opinion, you have to start where you are. You
Mm-hmm.
have to start within your circle of influence.
Yes.
So, and then each one teach one. Because again, if I think about how large the issue is, I may never do anything.
You get in awe of the situation. You look at that mountain, you're like, damn, this mountain is high. Take
So
one
why should
step.
I even try?
Exactly. Take one step.
But shout out to Jedi Mike. If we people who are thirsty or are interested or longing to have the guidance and leadership, they will gravitate to you. They will gravitate to me. They will gravitate to those who are speaking to the things that they deem important so they can get a hold of it and they can teach someone else. Because again, I before you joined in, I talked about reminding myself why I'm here in the first place.
Right.
And why I'm here in the first place is not to get a whole bunch of subscribers.
Nope.
And it's not to make money. It's not. I want to help people. And that the people that I help, they can help somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Pay it forward. See, remember I told you, we ask you to pay two things in the village: pay attention and pay it forward. That's
Right.
it. That's all we ask you. And we were talking about this, and I said this to you that, um, you know, our channel is small, right? But for the people that we're talking to, and it's large.
Yes.
It's large. We get trolls once in a while. I think that once you get a troll or two, you've officially made it. You know, so beware. They're coming for you.
Okay.
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 So,
Okay.
it's again, for me, it's never been about the numbers and it's never been about the money. I make good money, so I don't need it. You know, it's about formulating a place where people can connect online and off, because it doesn't just stay online. It stays off. We commune, we talk with each other, we speak. I counsel them, they call in, we talk, we build, and you know what I'm saying. It's not just about an online thing. It's not about you just communing with the Father on Wednesdays and Fridays and Sundays if you go to church. This is a daily thing. It's a daily thing. So this is something that we say to practice. Practice your love, man. It's not it shouldn't be fake, because a spiritual man or a spiritual woman is going to see you. So this is why when these men go to these gurus for game, we tell them that a script has an ending, my G.
Don't you get me started.
Your game is going to have an ending real soon, and when she sees the ending of your game, she's going to see the real you. So why don't you be you? Because there's no one on this earth that can be a better you than you.
Let me tell you something. Okay, listen. I liken it to this. And I hear me, young people. Hear me, young people. And it goes to the wisdom piece that we're talking about, but it also goes to knowing yourself truly,
Mm.
truly. I remember as a young person in my 20s and maybe a little bit in my 30s, when I would go into an interview, I would be so nervous about what are they going to ask me? How do I answer it? Am I going to say the right thing? But when I got to be late 30s, 40s, because I knew me,
Mm. See?
I'm just gonna answer it the way I want. I'm not gonna be concerned by what I think they want to hear. I'm gonna say what it is.
Say it.
And I'm going to say what I'm not, I didn't get nervous because again, I am who I am.
That's it.
Either they're going to select me or they're not.
That's it.
But I don't want to put this air on for them to select me and say, "Oh, you're not even the same person." No, 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 no. I am who I am.
Word. That's it. You get what you get.
Yeah.
I can't be no one else but me. And I'm gonna be
That's
the
it.
best me that I can be. And a lot of these cats try to emulate these dudes that tell you to be with me, come talk to me and for $1,000 for an hour. And a lot of the
I'm
times the life that they living ain't even real.
I'm glad you said that because I'm gonna. I initially started a Patreon, but I'm going to dismantle that because again, that's not what I'm about.
What is the
No,
pay?
no.
What is that Patreon? What is
I
that?
don't even know. But I think as if you like do some courses or something like that you offer aside from
Oh, okay.
what you do on your regular channel. I'm not doing that. A couple of reasons I'm not doing that. Because I have to remind myself, and Mr. Randolph reminded me, I thought you said this was a hobby. So it
Word.
is a hobby. So when it starts to become like a job, then I have to rethink this thing because this is my hobby. And how can I help doing this hobby? Because I'm retired now. Oh,
Right.
did I tell you that, Bolo? I'm
You
retired
did.
officially.
You did. You did. Congratulations. I'm trying to get there.
So
Congratulations.
again, this is so I don't, again, I'm like you, that's not why I'm doing this. I'm not doing this for money. I want to help people. Period. Period. If you feel so led to support the channel, and by the way, let me go ahead and shout out. See, that's why I'm gonna have one glass of wine. Um, I'm a lightweight. I said that. I'm a lightweight. Shout out to Mr. Woodward for his Cash App.
My man.
Shout out to Rilla for his Cash App. I thank you so much.
Woodward, shout out to you. Thank you, brother.
I appreciate it. Yes. So that's not so again, I'm not here for that. I'm talking about helping people again, each one teach one, like you, I'm gonna use it. Pay attention and pay it forward. That's what I'm here for.
Woo! That's a quarter. I
Okay.
see.
Put it on my account.
No doubt. No doubt. We both gonna have a count for. I think I owe you a dime because you got 15 cents
Yeah.
from me. I took that
Yeah.
one for your
Got a
invite.
credit.
Cool. So we'll work it. We'll work it out. We'll work it at the end
Okay.
of the day.
Last thing, because I know we've been going, I want to be done by 9 o'clock because that means it's 10 o'clock your time.
Okay.
Last thing. What is the hope for the nuclear family? And before you answer that, because when me and my daughter did our talk this past Saturday, she was like, some of the things that she's hearing in these different platforms on Manosphere, she said, I don't know why I didn't have those problems. And she said, kind of like what you're saying, how long are we going to keep thank you, Miss Brooks. Thank you, Miss Brittany, for your Cash App. How long are we going to keep pointing the finger at the other person instead of doing the self work to get what we want? So, with that, when we think about the wisdom for the young people, when we think about the hope for the nuclear family, what would you tell them?
Wow, that's a beautiful question. Um, hey, you come with some damn hard questions, man. What I would say is this: that for the family to work, we have to we have to let go of the anger that we have towards each other. The anger that men have towards women and the anger that women have towards men. We need to let it go. We need to understand what our focus is, right? And I say this a lot that in God's eyes, we are created equal, and He loves us because we are created equal in creation. We are created equal in creation, but we are not equal in purpose. Let me say it again. We are created equal in creation, but we're not created equal in purpose. So let me give you that example. God loves the eagle just as much as He loves the mouse. He made them both, created them both. But there's a purpose that He created the eagle for, and that was to eat the mouse. It was nothing that the eagle did to put him above the mouse. The Lord just said, Eagle, you're going to eat the mouse. There was nothing that man did that said you're going to be above women. The Lord just said, yeah, listen, man shouldn't be alone. Let's create this shorty. Created her, right? So we need to understand what our purpose are. And it starts with first having that perpendicular love, understanding self-love. That's why the Lord tells you love your brother like you love yourself. Love starts with you first. Understanding who you are, understanding what you do, what you need to get, understanding what your purpose is, understanding your intention, understanding how to be a father, a husband, but most of all, a God fearing man, so that you're able to discern a God fearing woman and vice
Mm.
versa.
Speak.
Being a God fearing woman so that you're able to discern a God fearing man so you don't make these mistakes with these poo putt punks out here that you're falling for, right? It's the same thing with the men. You won't fall for these thoughts. So once we get that portion figured out, now we can start understanding our purpose. See, because once we fall in line with the Most High, I don't have to say that, woman, you're in service to me. She's going to automatically understand what her service is. The same way you're going to lock in to each other. You're going to lock into each other. It's not something I got to keep telling you, be in subjection to me, be in subjection to me. Dogs, if she's not in subjection to you, then there's a problem. Because I guarantee you that there's another dude that she will be in subjection to. What's the difference between him and you? Look in the mirror. That's the problem. The mirror is a mother. It's a mother. Yeah, I was going to curse, but I caught myself. The mirror is something, man. And it's hard because you don't like what's looking back at you. Who does? But this is the thing that we say, right? That truth given without love is a weapon.
Say it again.
Truth given without love is a weapon. So when you give truth and you formulate that environment of love and you talk to these youngins, these young bloods, as my man Rilla calls them, and say, there's a young blood, there's a video. I don't know if it was real or not, but the man is walking, older man, he's walking into the store and this young blood is standing on the stoop. And he's like, yeah, what's going on, OG? And he's really hard. So the man says, yo, Duke, what's wrong with you? Why you know what I'm saying, man? It's hard in these streets, son. You know what I mean? About 2 minutes into the conversation, he says, yo, where's your father at? The dude just broke down and cried. I ain't have no father, OG, my father. He said, come here, let me give you a hug, man. That's what these kids need, man.
Yeah.
These kids need hugs. They need fathers. They need men. That's what they need. These little girls, they need fathers. Y'all need to understand how important the father is to. The father is the pinnacle of the home, man. Let's cut through the nonsense. I know, we say women are the backbone. It's the father. Not taking nothing away from women. Women do something beautiful. They nourish and bring life into this world. But understand the foundation of the family. It's the father. He anchors the family. Fathers are virus. We're the virus control. When you take that virus control out of the computer, all sorts of madness comes in. When you have that father at the door, he's checking that little egghead that's coming in to take his daughter on a date. Come here, let me holler at you, egghead.
Right.
What's your intentions with my wife? That's what we do. We're virus protection. But when you take the virus protection out of the home and all sorts of madness, this is what the world looks like when fathers are not in the home. This is what it's like, guys. Now you know. This is what it is. This is what it is when women are running the household. This is what it is. Let's call it what it is. We all have a position to play. Women have, you don't understand how strong women are. Women have strength. There was a king, and the king said, tell me what is the strongest thing in the kingdom. One guy said the sword. He said, no. The other guy said the horse and chariot. He said, no. He said, the queen. He said, why? One day I saw the queen take off his crown and slap him. Name another man that can do that. There is none. When you stay in your femininity and you stay in your strength, there is nothing that you cannot do. Nothing. Now, when you come out of that vibration and try to meet me on mine, something don't compute. Something is not computing correctly. So when all of us stay in our purpose, when men stay in their purpose and treat women like the dainty, weaker vessel they are, When we understand you're in a weaker vessel, what does that mean? That means we want to protect you. We want to guide you, nourish you. We want to stand in front of that pit bull. Nowadays, I move out the way because chicks talk like dudes. So if you're going to talk like that, then let the pit bull handle it. We'll see.
Listen,
Your experience will shut it down real quick. But why wasn't you there? Well, you said you can
you
beat me
got
up.
it.
You handled
You
it.
got it.
So the advice that I would give is, men, starts with us. Let's stop blaming. And let me ask you this question. If you have a leak in a house and a fire in a house, what do you attack first?
That's a good question.
A leak in a house or a fire, what do you attack first?
The fire?
Why?
Because it
You only
spreads faster?
correct. The fire will destroy the house. The leak will damage the house.
Okay.
Now, when you compare that into our community, who's the leak and who's the fire? Men are the fire.
Ooh, that was good.
We are the fire. Women's damage, when it comes to them damaging the children, it takes years for that to happen. When we create chaos, it happens in minutes, seconds. Seconds. So the onus is on us. The onus is on us to take responsibility and accountability and say, we're going to start. I mean, if you have a woman that has a house and all of her children are out of order, crazy. You bring a man that's in order into that house, you see change that first minute. Doesn't mean that you don't have work to do. But once they feel your spirit and they know that, Duke, wait, we can't act like this with this dude. You feel that change happen instantaneously. That's our strength. And we need to take that. We need to stop blaming women and
Okay,
start taking that responsibility.
real quick, shout out to Uncle Stu for yours. Cash App. Bolo, you see Miss Brittany has something on the screen for you. I was trying to find it on
Yeah,
your
she
page, but I
hit
couldn't.
me. Thank you, Miss Brittany. Thank you
Okay.
so much. Thank you so much. And that's
Um,
love, man. Thank you.
and it's funny that you say that because some of the youngins say, well, things are different and now, that was in your time, and
Nothing changed.
they don't- and I will contend there's some differences, but there are some things that remain. And the things that remain are when a young person can see when you can't bamboozle them and you can't bring them no crap. And
Mhm.
I say that because my adopted nephew Lamont was on a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about how I was a single mom in the neighborhood, but everybody knew Miss Terry was not having it. But guess what? They all wanted to be at my house.
No doubt, because they understood they were protected. And the most important thing, they felt love. That's the thing. They didn't feel it at home. They felt love. They felt, and I'm going to show you something. They felt that ownership of responsibility. Because I'm sure when they came to your house, you talked to them like they were your sons and your nephews and said, don't do this and don't do that. And they snapped to it. Yes, yes, Miss Terry. Yes,
Mhm.
Miss Terry. They want that discipline. They want it. But we can't give it because we're not disciplined ourselves. We're not disciplined ourselves. So, the OGs got to reach down to these young lions and talk to them, mentor, build with them. Same thing with these women. Scriptures tell you that the older women are supposed to teach the younger women. How the hell am I supposed to find a wife? I'm not supposed to groom her into a wife. I'm supposed to find her. She's supposed to be a wife already.
That's what I'm
Kids,
trying to help them with,
Uncle Stu said
Bolo.
it. Kids love order. Order to them is love. They need it. We need
And,
it.
and I'm trying to grow these young ladies so they don't have to wait until they my age to get it right. Because everything I thought that I was doing to prepare me for my husband,
Mhm.
it wasn't that.
And that's the
And I
same thing
was
with men.
teaching my daughter something else that other than what I intended to.
It's the same thing with men. Everything that we think what makes a man strength, being hard, every time you take a step, you crush the concrete and all this stuff. You're a green Hulk. Hulk smash. Even the Avengers didn't want him around. They was like, yo, keep the Hulk away. But when he became Professor Hulk, When he became the gray Hulk, where he had the brains as well as the bronze, that's when they say, we need this dude around. Why?
Yes.
Because he knew when to apply pressure, he knew when to speak, he knew when to understand. Being strong is knowing when to apply pressure, when not to, when to walk away, when to say, you got it. I'll leave you on this one. There was a movie, I don't know if you ever seen, it was Booty Call. You ever seen that?
No.
You ever seen Booty Call?
No,
The first
no,
45 minutes of it is funny. It's with Jamie Foxx and Vivica A. Fox. And
no.
there was a part of it where, Jamie Foxx is trying to impress Vivica A. Fox. Vivica A. Fox got a good job. Jamie Foxx don't. So they go to this Chinese restaurant, and the godfather of the triads walk in, and he's smoking a cigar, right? And Vivica A. Fox says, they're not supposed to be smoking in here. So he says, I'm gonna go handle it. She's like, yo, you don't know who that is? That's the Godfather. He says, make it off me. Let me go handle my business. I'm trying to impress you. So he walks over to the Godfather and he talks to him in Chinese. He says, yo, I'm trying to impress this chick. Can you please put the cigar out? Now, here's what is significant in this whole story. Him being the Godfather respected his fly and looked at him and said, no doubt. Could have squashed him. Could have squashed him. He knew what his power was. But he said, you know what, brother? I see what you're trying to do. By me putting it out, it's going to give you power. You know what? I got you. And that's what it's about. Knowing when to apply it, knowing when to boast other brothers up. That's what it's about. If I shine, I'm the only one that's shining, it doesn't profit me nothing. But if we all become constellations together, that's when we form that galaxy, baby. That's when we form that universe.
That's
I don't
what's
want to
up.
be a star all by myself. I don't want to be that. I need me a group. I don't want to be a single singer, brother. I need a group. And that's what it's about. Family. I'm the analogy king.
I love it. I
We need a
love
group.
it.
And that's what I'll tell the youngins, man. Let's stop pointing the fingers and say, this is what we did, and let's straighten it up and straighten it out.
And I agree with you. I tell the young ladies again to learn from the things I did wrong. Don't have children out of wedlock. Marry first. Marry first. And what that means to you, women, that you have a standard and an expectation for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
My husband, when I asked him, I did the interview, I said, what made me stand out from the other women that you had dated? Because that was the first time I'd ever asked him that. And he said that I made it clear that I had a standard and there were certain things I wasn't going to take. And he said that was good with him because he felt the same way too.
Okay.
Okay? So women, if you have a standard,
Word.
the man who also has a standard is
Mm.
going to appreciate the fact that you have a
Yep.
standard.
Because it shows respect. It shows dignity.
And
It
if he
shows.
doesn't, then he doesn't. If she doesn't, then she isn't. Okay?
Well, someone in your audience wanted me to freestyle.
Go ahead and bust it.
Oh, they don't understand how I freestyle.
Okay.
Brittany want me to freestyle. I'm a freestyle quick, fast.
Okay.
Check it. Word up. That's it. That one's called We Going. That's how we
Wow.
freestyle.
Okay.
My
Okay.
freestyle's only like 30 seconds, man. My freestyles don't last that long. It's like 30 seconds. I got like maybe 30 records out there right now.
That quick, huh? But
Come on now. You can't.
30
fast,
records for
baby.
30 seconds.
20
Okay.
seconds. You can't go wrong with that one. I get a lot of flack from the people that tell me my freestyle is whack, but Brittany wanted it. You got it, Brittany.
And Jamal, you're absolute. It takes a village to raise a bar, and that is what we're doing here.
There you go. You don't
That's what
find
we're doing
channels
here.
like TJ's channel. You don't find channels that sit there and actually have conversations about ownership and about moving forward. You don't have it. And that's what's so important. When the Lord tells you, seek me while there's still yet time, these channels are going to rapidly disappear. Look around you in this world. If you don't see things happen, this is global. This is not
Yes, it
just
is.
not, it's not just happening in America. It's happening around the planet. Look around the world. So if you don't grab this now, I don't know what to tell you.
And another Bolo, your channel is Bolo TV. I just
Oh,
put it
TV.
right here. Yeah, Bolo TV. You're absolutely right. And again, I know I said, ladies, if don't have children out of wedlock, but if you are one like me and you already did, there are things we need to do, like I did, because again, you already know. I've shared with you what I thought I was showing my daughter and what I was showing her were two different things. But we got to prepare our children for the world. So if you're already a mom, we got to lean forward in the foxhole for all my military people.
There you go.
Because we
It's
can't
not too
undo it. We
late.
just have to redeem the time and make sure that we are growing our young people to be the best they can. Surround them with
Yep.
a village.
Yep. Yeah. Don't let them people tell you you can't find yourself a good man or whatever. That's garbage. Don't let them dudes in the manosphere say that you're used. You know it's garbage. Garbage. That when you got to understand something. The scriptures tell you that Satan, when he talks about a bad thing, he talk it of himself. So when he says you smell, it's really him that smell.
Oh, Lord, have
So
mercy. Go
he's
ahead.
trying to put onto you how he feels. So when that man tells you that you're not worth nothing because you have a child, then he's not worth nothing because he probably has a child and he ain't doing nothing for that child.
Oh, you better. I'm about to throw something. You right.
So understand that. So remember, you know, the Most High tells you that you need to pick, relationships, not only, your husband, your wife can propel you, the friends that you keep with you also can, weigh on you like an anchor. Because sometimes it may not be just your wife. You may have problems with your wife or your husband, and you need the people around you to pour into you. So it's also the people that you keep around you. Keep those that love you. Keep those that want the best for you around you and that have the same direction as you.
And one more thing, and we gonna come. Here's another thing. These YouTube streets. Guard your heart and your mind,
Mm,
because I'm just gonna keep it 100.
please.
Like I said, Mr. Randolph said, I thought this was a hobby. He asked me because he saw I was getting so. I was watching this here. I was watching that there. He saw my countenance start to change
Right. Right.
because I was feeding my spirit things that it
Yep.
shouldn't have been ingesting.
Yep. Yep.
So I had to remember, okay, why am I doing this? What is my purpose for doing this? And I had to discipline myself as to when I was going to do it.
You're
Because if we
100%.
continue to go to these different places that are not feeding us the things that we really need and that we say we want,
Yep.
because again, if we're hearing all this negative, 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 it is going to be planted in our spirit.
That's what people need to understand. If you eat garbage food, your body's it's gonna react garbagely. And I made that word up. I
I
make a
like
lot of
it.
words up too.
I like it.
Garbagely. So
Hmm.
if you continue to put garbage in your spirit, how do you think your spirit's gonna react? You're 100% correct. You're 100% correct.
And instead of looking at the possibility of a good relationship that you could be walking into, you're going to be looking for something negative. And when you look for something, you find it.
Oh my God, man. I gotta give you this.
Bang, 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 bang.
What?
Come on now. That's the bang. That's when in battle rap, when someone says something real slick and real on point, that's what they do. They give the bang bang.
Oh.
Or they give the horn, or they do this.
Okay. Okay. I heard that.
Oh, you heard
Yeah.
You didn't
Yeah.
know what the bang bang was.
You
But you
know,
on point like a sniper. You on point
yeah,
like a sniper.
I'm growing. I'm growing. But I mean, it's serious. It's serious. So again, when you're gonna automatically go one out looking for the negative because that's what's in your mind. So sometimes we got to take a step back. And I've been doing that too. I've been doing that too.
You
And
gotta
Uncle
see. You
Stu said, if you look for the devil, you should.
gonna
Okay.
find them. You gonna find. You
Show
keep looking
enough.
for them. You gonna find them. You know what I'm saying? So you you gonna find them. You gotta keep your mind right and keep it straight. It's not easy, and that's why that village is so important. That's the TLA horn. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. That's the hip. That's really he gets it from the battle rap. You know,
Okay.
but you're right. You're 100%. That's why the village. That's why I said, and they looked at me like I was a maniac on La Peep when I said, in slavery we were in better shape. They looked at me like I was a maniac. I said, because the family structure was intact, because all we had was ourselves. We didn't
Mm,
have all those freedoms that we can go left and right. We knew that we had parameters that we needed to stay in, and everyone did what they needed to do.
yeah.
Now we're free and you can do whatever you want. You can go fly balloons someplace and kick a rock another place. No one has parameters. No
And
one has
because we're
direction.
free, we'll
Yep.
sit there and watch a woman get raped.
Oh my God. Say it again. Yes.
Because we're free,
Yep.
we'll sit there and watch a woman get raped.
Yep.
Because we're free, we will we will trample over people in
The
astral
concert.
world. We
Yeah.
will trample over people and not help because we are free.
That's it. That's it. Think
Because we
about it.
would have never done that.
Nope.
Would
Think
have
about it. You're
never
running
done that.
after you're suffocating people for a dude that's performing. Dude ain't giving you no bread. I can understand if he was throwing millions of dollars into the audience. The dude is singing a rap record. These cats don't understand that when they go to these concerts, these things are seances. They don't understand that they be hypnotizing you. Y'all better
And
understand
because we're
MK
free,
Ultra is
we don't
real.
care about
Word
each other.
up. Word. There's only a key core of people that are going to get it, TJ. A core. That's why I say to you that your channel, my channel, they're not going to gravitate great numbers. And I don't expect it to, because
I
we're
don't
talking
care.
truth. We're talking truth. You know what I'm saying? So, and the Lord tells you, because you talk truth, they're going to hate you because they hated me. Period.
Well, there's truth is never favored. That's why he named his channel like the truth is never favored.
Ooh.
How about that?
That's a nice name, my G. That's a nice name, and let me say this, man. I would like to thank you, right? Because a lot of the times you know how this is going around, we don't give out flowers. We give them out when people pass. I like to thank you for, one, inviting me on your channel, but bigger than that, for you being strong enough, for you being courageous enough to talk about the wrong decisions you've made and how you straightened it out, and to have your daughter on at the same time. That's that's hard to do, man. That's hard to do. Thank you so much for being transparent in the aspect of women can see and grow and learn. Thank you so much. And I love you for that. Thank you.
Thank you. I love you too. And on that note, we're going to call it a wrap. And thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, good
Thank you
night.
for having me, darling. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night.